Hello everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to use different triggers in your workflow. As you know, when you develop your workflow, you need to start it somehow. Some people prefer to start it with a manual trigger. Some other prefer to use built-in forms and share the link with their customer or their colleagues or the target community. And some other want to connect the workflow to the web to their website. And as soon as their customer or their visitor does some activities on the website, it starts a workflow in n8n and have a reaction to their activity. It's very interesting and I will talk about them in this video. As you can see, for this video, I developed a workflow in 3 layers. Triggers, so I will start this workflow in 4 ways for different methods, and I will show you how they work. After that, I have organizer for data organizing, and after that, I have main process. So what are they? Let's start with data organizer. When you start a workflow with a trigger, they may come from a webhook, from a website, so they bring a lot of data. Or maybe you submitted a form to your workflow and it has a lot of data that you don't need for your workflow. So it's a kind of chaos coming with the trigger. You need to organize data. You need to pull out useful data from that trigger and organize them, assign proper name to them, and put them into the process. So data organizer layer does that for me. If I open each of them, for example, the first one, you will see that I have 2 parameters, email and name. All of them are similar parameters, but I will connect them to the different triggers. What about the main process? Main process can be any process that you want to develop for yourself or your customer. But I want to keep it simple here because it's not my main focus in this video. I just want to send an email, so I want to keep it very simple. But what is the body of the email? I'm assuming that I am developing this workflow for a wedding manager, and they want to make some invitations to the wedding guests, and so they need email and name of the person and send out the email to that person. So if you open this Gmail node, you have to, which is address of the person, email address, and subject is wedding invitation, and the type of the email is text. And if you open the body of the email, it's a kind of template. The only thing that needs to be replaced is this parameter here, which is coming from the last node. Okay, now let me show you how manual trigger works. You just need to connect this trigger to your workflow. But this trigger doesn't have any information. It just starts the workflow. So you need the first node after that to define some parameters, some inputs for your workflow. So if you open that, I have a email address and a name. And so this is enough parameter for our workflow to start it. And when I connect this parameter to the main process, as soon as I click on the trigger, you see that this node is green. The line after that is green. It means that it's run. It goes to the next step. The other node is green, and the line is green, and the last node also is green, and the process is done. So I should receive an email from the workflow in my inbox. So let me double check my inbox here. Yes, as you can see, the name is replaced. I received the email and it works. So let me delete this email and go back to workflow and remove this connection, save it, and let's run the next trigger. As you can see, this is on form submission. If I double click on that, at the top of this form, you have an address here. You can copy this address and share it with your guests, with your customers, or any person that you want. Now I can connect this node to the data organizer. But let's run it step by step. So let's run this node. And you see the form that it generated. We didn't do any coding or programming to generate this form. This is built in n8n, and you can share it with your customers. Now I have email and a name. which is a random name I just gave it. When you submit this form, you can close this window and you see that this node is green and the line in between after that is green. So it means that the data is passed to the next node successfully. If you double click on this parameter definition node, you have outputs of the last node here on the left side. So you can drag them and put them into the correct place. I want email to be defined as an email, and I want the name to be defined as a name. And you can change the parameter names, but I want to keep them email and name. Okay, now I have parameters defined. So if you run this step, you have it green and the line after that green with one item output. If you double click again on these, you see the right side of your window, which is outputs of this node. Now it's time to connect this output to my main process, and now save it. And let's execute this form from the beginning to see how it works. I just click on this form, on this node, and submit. When I submit it, you see that all process goes to the end. And if you check the inbox, you see that email came. The third method is Gmail trigger. I want my inbox to be a kind of trigger for my workflow. So I have my Gmail. Credentials are assigned automatically. Method is every minute, so it checks my inbox every minute. And as soon as I have an unread email, it starts the workflow for me. So I'll keep this setting for that Gmail trigger. I just connect it to the next node. But next node needs to define the parameters for me. I need parameters in input and drag them and put them in the correct place. I don't have these inputs because I never run this Gmail. So before running this Gmail, I need an unread email coming from my friends, from some potential guests of the wedding. So let me send an email from my other account. Great. I have email from my other account, and it's funny just saying I need an invitation. So I have this email coming to my account, and let's pretend it's unread. And let's run this node. Okay, it's green. It seems that it reads the inbox. Yes, the email coming from my other account. And the body is hi, I need an invitation. And the ID of the email is this. So I have everything from the email. And now it's time to define the data. When I double click on this, you see a lot of data here, and I don't need all of them. I just need two parameters, email and name. So you just have to define email. And what is the email? Email is the email from coming my other account. And what is the name? I don't have name. I have ID of the email and I don't have name from the sender. But in within this address email, I have the name at the first as first parameters. So maybe I can pull out the name from this parameter. So let's try that. Let me copy this and paste it here. And the beauty of this is that when you write a dot, you will have some methods to modify the parameter for yourself. One of them is a split. But what is the splitter character for you? As you can see, I can write a split, and here inside as an input, I can say a space can be a splitter. And which part do you need? I need the part 0. So indicators start from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3. So the first part of this combination, which is Masood, which is the name that I need, the indicator of that part is 0. So I have the name and perfect. I have parameters that I need and I just need to connect them to the main process. Now Let's start it as a whole process. And as you can see, whole process got green and I got the email. This is the email that I sent it. Now it's time to work on the last trigger, which is the most interesting and complicated. Now we want to use Webhook, but this Webhook gets the information from your website. How it works? If you use a webhook, if you double click on that, you have a link here, and it's the link that data comes through that to your workflow. You put it on post, you want to receive the data, and you don't touch anything here. You just keep it as is, and you just connect it to the data organizer. But when you double click on the data organizer, you have nothing to drag it and put in the right place. But what should you do? You don't have even any data in your webhook. So first of all, we need to set webhook in our website. I want to show you how you can easily develop a website and do that for yourself, or how you can embed it in your existing website. I'm going to use Google AI Studio. In Google AI Studio, you have a build tool here that it builds really builds website for you or web application for you. You just need to give the idea and it goes and generates the codes for you. I developed an idea using ChatGPT. I asked it to create a single page website for me with wedding vibe, where there is a form which is very nicely styled. I wanted a fancy and modern style. I just described what I need. And here I said that when you receive email and name of the visitor of the website, send it to this webhook URL. What is the URL of the webhook? This is placeholder. I would replace it with the address that I have from my webhook. So as soon as I go to webhook and click on this address here, and here I can remove it and paste the address here. Perfect. Now I have the website. You can full screen, you can have the codes, you can um, launch it on your domain or anything that you want. It's the easiest example that I wanted to show you. Execute workflow. Now it's listening. When it's listening, I can send it. As you can see, you are invited and your invitation is uh, sent, and you can see that it's green here. So you received your information from your website in your n8n workflow. If I double click on that, as you can see, a lot of data are coming through this webhook. That's why I need a filter here to organize the data. So if I double click on that, I have all these data from the webhook, but I just need name and email, which are listed here. Name to the name parameter and email to the email parameter. That's it. When you run it, you have output, and when you connect it to your Gmail and you run the Gmail, you will have the email coming to your Gmail. There are a lot of more triggers for your workflows. Some of them are listed here for my next video. I will talk about Telegram, WhatsApp, Facebook, and the other type of webhook. Webhook is very complicated and it's a door to your workflow. You can use it on your PC, you can use it on your website, you can use it in other places, in other web apps or other PC applications. It's a door to your workflow. And if you connect it to other applications, you will have a ecosystem of applications for yourself or your customers. And as much as you learn about webhooks, it will be amazing for your work. Thank you so much again for supporting this video and supporting this channel. Make sure that you are a subscriber because more things are coming. Thank you so much.